on needing a glasses case, so I thought I would make one quickly. And carrying on with this scrappy cotton theme, I'm going to carry on using these bits and pieces of cotton that I have left over. So it's going to be one of those, but I'm going to use single crochet, so it's going to be quite a tight stitch to hold my glasses nice and safely. Okay, nice and easy to do. We're going to start here with this color here, this what would you call it, lilac, I guess. And we are going to chain about 15 stitches. I think will be about right. Let's see, let's zoom in a bit. Okay, we're going to chain, I have got so it's 3.5 hook here. Possibly you could use a 4 as well, but I'm going to go for nice and tight. So there we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. And let's check this width. There we go. Let's just straighten it. I don't know how well you can see the lilac there. And let's check my glasses. I think that'll be a good size. So let's go ahead. So you know we need it to be about that length, that width. So let's chain one more to start, and then we are going to need to make it a little bit wider than just the one row. So we're going to do 3 single crochets into the second stitch. That's why we always do an extra stitch when we are doing single crochet, because you miss the first one. 1, 2, 3, and then you're going to do 1 into each stitch all the way along. And once again, we're going to change color kind of randomly, or you can make 2 rows or 1 row and then change whatever you prefer. You can do it all one color, of course, that's probably the easiest. But carrying on with my scrappy theme and nice colorful theme, I'm going to change colors randomly every now and then. Okay, so we're nearly at the end. Give myself some cotton here. And when we get to the end, we're going to need to widen it on the other side as well. So we're going to do 3 single crochets into the very last stitch as well. This will give it a bit of width and make it a little bit wider to fit your glasses into. All right, so here we go. Second last stitch, 1 into that one, and then we get to the very last one, and here we're going to put 3 single crochets. So 1, 2, and 3. And now we're going to work back along the other side of the row. So into the chains that we made, we're going to do a stitch in each, and we're going to work in our end at the same time. So can you see the stitches nicely? There we go. There's the first one there. Let's do one in the first stitch, 1 into the second stitch, 1 into the third, and so forth, all the way along, crocheting in our end so that we don't need to sew it in later. Actually made quite a long end here, but as soon as we've crocheted it in for a few stitches, we can just cut the rest off and it all will be secure. Okay, so there we go. I'm going to stop there and do a snip and reach for another color. Okay, similar color. This is a nice purple, I guess. And let's attach it just with a knot and carry on. Okay, you can leave this strand behind now. It is nice and secure, and we can cut it off in a little bit. Okay, there are the stitches, each and every one. You just do one single crochet when you come to the new color. There we go. We just put it in along with your work and continue. Keep it in for at least 3 or 4 stitches, I would say, to secure it, and then you can cut it off. Okay, there we go. So there's the new color, and we've done 2 rows. We are going to just work in the round, so we're not going to end and start. We're just going to carry on going round and round and round. So, and we've got enough width. I think that's enough. So we're just going to go into the next stitch and the next one and the next one with 1 single crochet in each. And that is how easy it is. We're going to carry on with this color until you want to change, or if you're still with your first color, great. You do exactly what you'd like to do. But so far, so good. We're just going to carry on going round and round and round and round, changing color when we want. Okay, so I'm going to do that. You carry on doing that as well. It's going to work up quite quickly, which is lovely. So I'll see you in a bit when we've all gone a little bit further than this. Just 1 stitch in each, round and round and round and round. I'll meet you back up soon. Okay, here's a quick check-in. I've done 10 rows, changing the color. I'm actually loving the look of it. Quite a way to go, but it's really gone really quickly, so I can't imagine it's going to take too much longer. So round and round and round and round, keep going, and I will let you know how many rows I need in the end. It will, yeah, we're probably about 1/4 of the way, or 1/3 of the way, but yeah, we're going to keep going for now. Okay, see you soon. And there we go. We've got the height that we need. It actually worked out to be 34 rows in the end. So that is as long as we need it, which is perfect. And then for the flap, we're going to do a half granny triangle. And to do that, I'm going to just use the 1 color for that. And I'm going to use this green that I have here. And I need a pair of scissors to get started. Okay, and to make our half granny triangle, we are going to make a slip knot, however you like to make your slip knots. And then we're going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then you're going to do a slip stitch into the first chain that you made there. Remember, through and then through, and then you've got your hole in the center there in which we're going to work. Okay, so to start your half granny square, okay, we're going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And we're going to be working in double crochet. So that is your first double crochet plus a chain in between it and the next one. Okay, so your second granny cluster goes straight into the middle, So yarn over, back into the middle, pull through, yarn over, pull through, and pull through. That's your first double of your first cluster. Do your next one. Remember, granny cluster has 3 double crochets in it. Okay, there we go. There's your first double crochet, chain, and then your first cluster. All right, so there we are. We're going to then chain 2, and we're going to do another cluster back into the same spot. Three double crochets, and 3, okay. So the two sides are almost mirrors of each other. We only need to do the last double crochet, so we chain 1 and do that last double crochet, a single one that we started with there. Okay, and there we go. Let's have a look here what we've made so far. We've got a double, a cluster, a chain 2, another cluster, and another double. All right, so we're going to do the second round, and to do that we're going to chain 4, 2, 3, and 4, and we are going to then do our first cluster into the first chain 1 space. Three double crochets. Oopsie, that last one. Do it again. Oh. With a chain, then here's the chain 2 space, the point of our triangle, and into that chain 2 space we're going to do the next point, which comprises of a cluster, once again, chain 2, and another cluster back into that same chain 2 space. A chain 1 and another cluster into that first chain 1 space. And to end off, as we did the last time, we're going to chain 1 and do our last single back into that same spot. Okay, there we go. So I'm doing the whole flap, I guess you could call it, in the one color, as I said, and this is what it's going to look like. It's almost the right size. I'm going to do one more round, and then we'll have our flap ready for our glasses case. Okay, and to do that, it's exactly the same as we did before. We're going to chain 4, and you can carry on as long as you like, making this bigger with the same pattern. Okay, back into that first chain 1 space, do a cluster of 3 doubles, chain 1 into the next chain 1 space, another cluster, chain 1, back to the peak of our triangle, cluster, chain 2, cluster, and the last one, followed by a chain and another cluster into the next space. You see a space, put a cluster, followed by a chain, and continue. Chain. Okay, there we go, nearly finished. We've got one more chain 1 space right at the end here, so we're going to put our last cluster into there. 1, 2, and 3. And once again, to end, we're just going to do our chain 1 and our last double crochet back into that same spot. And I actually love how these look. They're so pretty, and it's going to give us the hole that we need for the button, so it all works out quite nicely. And there we go. Now we are going to sew this on. We can cut off, leaving quite a space to sew it on, quite a length. Okay, let's have a look here. Okay, and there we go. So we're going to flap it back. We can sew this in a second, and we've got 2 choices of thread to use. I'm going to use the lighter one, so find a needle, thread it, and then we're going to work from the one side systematically to the other side, into the one. Let's pull all these neatly. That side, that side. Oops. You carry on like that. Getting that out of the way so we can see. Okay, and all the way across. So on our little flap of our glasses case. There we go, that's better. There we go, we're at the end. We've sewed on our whole triangle, and we can just go through a few times just to, I actually have done it a few times, and then we can sew in that end in a secchi. So there's our flap. Look how cute that looks. And we just need to find a button and sew it on. So I'm going to go and see what I can find. Okay, carrying on with our colourful theme, I've found a very cute little button that I'm going to place about there, or however, yeah, it does fit through there. I have tried. So it's going to be there, and because these holes are quite tiny and I need a sewing needle, a little one, I have got this one here. Don't know if you can see it. Oops, right. And I'm going to use actual cotton. Okay, so here's cotton and a thread my little needle, and I'm going to sew this button on. I've got some nice green cotton, and there we go. I'm going to sew this cute little heart button where it needs to go. All right, let me do that quick. And it's done. There we go. There's our little glasses case with our button sewn on. I've got my little glasses cleaner cloth close at hand to keep inside as well, and my glasses. Okay, there we go. That was a very fun project. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you like your little glasses case. I think that's very cool. And I will see you again soon with the next fun project. Thanks. Bye.